to businesses abroad on how they can create or how they can market their products in the UK, and how can the UK SMEs can take the advantage of connecting with SMEs and with companies abroad. So if I may start, if you can just tell us a little bit about your background. I know it's a lot, but just tell us a little bit about your background and your business journey, if that's okay.
Okay, so my background, I guess, started in international trade with my first serious job when I was in the export department of a company based in Acton in Ely, who were called Metal Box. They were exporting machinery that would make tin cans for food production or beverage. Okay. After them, I moved from tin cans to glass bottles. I moved into work for Diageo, exporting J&B whiskey, mainly to South America. Okay. I then decided that that's something that I really wanted to do for a career. So I went to work for a Qatari-owned trading company in Hammersmith, where I could walk to work. Went to college in Isleworth, got a degree in international trade management and international law through the Institute of Export, and then I started traveling off to North Africa. My first business trip was for 3 weeks going to Libya, which was quite an eye-opener from a London lad's perspective. Okay. I quickly fell in love with a lot of things from the Middle East, was overwhelmed by the warmth and hospitality of people in a country that was weighed down by sanctions, didn't see that many Western visitors, and the people that they did see, they valued them arriving and visiting. So I then started to travel not only around from Libya, but I also traveled to Algeria, to Tunisia, to Malta, to Egypt, to Saudi Arabia, to Bahrain. I had an office in Dubai, went to Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, the West Bank, opened an office in Azerbaijan, and had an office in Tehran, as well as in Jabal Ali Free Trade Zone. So our business that I started with, that was quite small, grew quite well, because we were offering something that was quite unique. We were offering British equipment with something that is a rarity in a lot of Middle East countries, and that's after-sales services. We do very well in the UK with services. And so if you're the person that's looking after the machinery or the equipment, or training people on how to use it and how to get something, get the better use out of their equipment into growing their business, you're somebody who, it turned out, was quite popular, and I was quite lucky to do that.
Fantastic. That is, thank you for sharing. So it was even bigger than what I've expected. So excellent. So can you tell us a little bit about what you currently do, and what sort of projects that you are involved in, especially with the lockdown and the COVID-19? I know that you're adding lots of value, lots of activities, but
so I became when there was the revolution against Gaddafi in Libya, and the Arab Spring, which is very poor wording. It should have been called an Arab disaster for a lot of countries, happened. It meant that business for this trading company went downhill to zero, and the company had to close. I then went to work for the Department of International Trade, or UKTI, as they were known then, to help smaller West London companies export their products overseas, and to help overseas companies import their products for sale in a very buoyant UK, especially London market. And I quickly discovered that being a British government trade officer, I could use chambers of commerce as quite good multipliers to introduce me to lots of local businesses who are in need of support. The support is given free of charge. The only thing that these small businesses had to do is trust that the person who they were inviting through their front door was actually there to help them. And a lot of companies are very suspicious that when you walk through the door, you give them a little bit of help to start off with, and then you ask them for a lot of money later.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I know that. Yeah.
So you have to build trust, and building trust comes with relationships and comes with time.
Yes.
So when I stopped working at the Department of International Trade, my predecessor at the Chamber of Commerce, who was running it, left. There was an opportunity for me to get more and more engaged in Hounslow Chamber of Commerce and to help grow it from being just Hounslow Chamber of Commerce to now being the West London local chambers, which also covers Chamber of Commerce services for Ealing, for Hammersmith and Fulham, and for Hounslow. Those are the most prosperous parts, arguably, of West London. And we're very lucky in a way that in the UK, the biggest GDP area in the UK is London.
Yes.
And the biggest GDP area in London is the financial heart of the city in Bank, and the other part is in Canary Wharf. After those two areas, the third biggest GDP area is West London.
Yep.
And it's largely around the companies in the Park Royal Business Estate.
Yep.
The companies in Chiswick Park Business Estate, and the companies down the Great West Corridor going towards Heathrow, and the link between Heathrow Airport and the centre of London. And a lot of big major companies have got their headquarters along that route. So we're able to engage with a lot of those very big PLCs, but also at the same time offer the opportunity for small sole traders or micro SMEs who've got a clever niche little product, but they can't manage to get the attention of the bigger companies in their ivory towers of what their clever new innovative products are. And that's where a local chamber of commerce can give them a hand. And that's what we do. We give them a voice so that they're heard, and we can give them introduction.
Interesting. Interestingly, you are probably one of the most active chamber of commerces. Yeah, I know it's not Hounslow, it's Fulham and Hammersmith and Ealing, but especially during the COVID-19 or the lockdown, you have taken lots of activities to keep the well-being of the different business owners, both mentally, spiritually, positivity, but also to guide them and show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So that is really great. And this is maybe one, and you have also some tie-ups with other markets. I know that you have a couple of seminars also tied up for next week to connect the local businesses with international market. You have lots of success stories, Alan, and lots of achievements. What would you consider your biggest achievement to be?
Well, first of all, we have a secret weapon in Hounslow. She's called Sally Smith.
I do agree.
And anybody who has a Sally Smith is assured of being a success. And our Sally Smith is a fountain of energy. And the level of connections that she has in our part of West London is quite incredible. And in times of problems, people end up coming together and looking for a solution. And we've decided at Hounslow Chamber and West London local chambers that now isn't the time to try and make money out of businesses and grow. Now is the time to show and galvanize some of the support that there is to help businesses survive this huge pandemic that we're facing, this tidal wave of economic disasters that's hitting our shores, and to try and help those companies understand properly. If you're a small company, you are not sure how to furlough your maybe 1 or 2 employees. You need to have some ideas on what you can do to do that. You're not sure about what the repercussions with HMRC are. So we have a HMRC specialist as well as a HR specialist. We have a lawyer on our task force who gives free legal advice to small companies on how they can proceed to keep their business going. We have one of West London's leading accountancy firms on our books, helping us guide companies through the plethora of big announcements that the government comes out with to help small companies. But it takes a long time for them to come from government all the way through to local authority to be delivered. So we have the finance councillor for Hounslow Council on our advisory task force board to help companies as well. So we're doing a lot of things to help local firms in the safe, sound knowledge that if we can get them back to prosperity and back to growth and stabilize their business, then they'll look to continue their membership and their involvement with our chamber. And last month, we received 10 new member applications for our chamber, which was close to a record number of new applications for 1 month, which is really good going. And it just goes to show that by investing your time in your own membership, which is our business, investing our time in our own business, people can see what you're doing to try and help them.
They are definitely seeing the efforts that have been made and are being made. You've talked about your secret weapon, Sally. You've also talked about the different support that you are and other partners are being providing, whether on a taxation or HMRC, on HR, from a lawyer, law perspective, accountancy, and all of that. What would you consider the biggest challenge for businesses, for these micro, small, and even for bigger businesses in that part of London moving forward?
Cash flow at the moment is king. And for cash to flow, you have to make payments to people for the people who owe you money to make payments in turn back to you. It's very easy to say the best way to help your cash flow is to not pay anybody, to sit on your money.
That's not a wise thing to do.
Cash is a circular scenario, and cash has to flow in business for all businesses to succeed. And that's something that needs to improve. That will happen with businesses when they have more confidence that if they pay money out, they're getting money coming in at the same time. And as this economic cycle continues, the one spark that's the opportunity that I don't think people are talking about enough is that unlike all of the other recessions that this country's been through, uniquely in this one recession, most of the people who are going into the recession are in a financially quite stable or better position for their cash reserves. So for the last 3 months, people have largely speaking either been furloughed or they've had some type of relief from the government by way of a 3-month mortgage holiday by way of rates relief, or by way of their salaries being furloughed, so they get paid 80% of their salary.
Yep.
But what do you spend your money on? At the moment, while people have been at home under virtual quarantine and lockdown, they haven't been able to go out to shops, they haven't been able to go to restaurants, they haven't been able to go to bars. So the people's money has been saved.
Yes.
So just for once, people are going into a recession with actually more savings than they had 3-4 months ago, in the large part. Of course, there are the exceptions that that's not the case for, but largely speaking, people do have that. So the one thing that will kickstart this economy going properly is if people start to spend again.
Yeah.
And if people start to spend again, then they'll have security of employment, because their employers will see that cash flowing through business again.
Excellent. Just a quick question. You've mentioned about the record applications in 1 month. So in case other businesses would like to be part of the chamber, shall they go on the website, or is there, how do they do that?
So it's very easy. On our website, there's a members page, and you can sign up for membership. Hounslow Chamber of Commerce. It's very easy to look up. The wonderful thing is that in times of normality, we would do 4 breakfasts per month. We would do 1 sector summit on a speciality subject, like business growth, like HR, like accounting, and we would also do a seminar on international trade. For last year, we did 13 international trade events, which is quite a good number. And all of those events for a member are free of charge, unless there's food involved, and then you have to pay a little bit of money to cover the cost of the food. Additionally, we have 3 major events per annum. We have a regeneration event talking about the construction industry in the borough and how it's being transformed. We have a Festival of Business event in February for as business comes out of the winter into the spring, celebrating the opportunities there. This year we had about 300 attendees, with, I think there were 60, 70 odd stands. Some of the stands were from overseas. One of them was from Iraq, where they had members, they have visitors from the Iraqi embassy come along to promote the stand. And they had honey, dates and rice, all that had been imported from Iraq for sale to promote bilateral trade. And they brought along BBC Arabia, who filmed the stand there, also went to the other stands, as well as BBC London. So we had the 2 versions of the BBC at the event, plus the Queen's representative, plus the Mayor of London, plus the local MPs. So we had a fantastic show. And then in October, we have our Business Awards event. And you get all of this. And if you're a startup company with a couple of employees, I think they've got the pricing wrong on this. There's a 0 missing. On our website, it says that you can do all of this for £100 a year membership. I think the 0 should be added in there, and it should be £1,000 a year. But I get pushed to one side and get told you should do this all for £100 a year for your smaller companies.
Yeah, that's great of you, but definitely there is lots of value. You've talked about the events that are there. Is there any exciting news? Is there anything specific that you would like to share with the with us?
So the exciting news, while we've been in lockdown, is we've built a new Chamber of Commerce to expand Hounslow Chamber's operations into and offer our Chamber of Commerce services to companies in Ealing and into Hammersmith. And we've called this entity West London Local Chambers.
Yeah.
We've got a website, westlondonlocalchambers.org.uk, that you can go onto and see what we're doing there. And that runs in parallel and together with Hounslow Chamber of Commerce's website. So out of this pandemic has come a new Chamber of Commerce that we've given birth to and launched to help the smaller and local companies in those boroughs. Personally, I was born and brought up in Hammersmith. My first two major jobs were in Ealing and in Acton, and I now the managing director of Hounslow Chamber of Commerce. So it's quite, they're all my local boroughs and boroughs that I would call home.
It's, I think they are benefiting also not only from your experience, but also from your vision and your secret weapon and the proactivity of what you have been doing, because definitely that has added to the trust, not only to the local chambers, but also to the businesses that are located in all these three areas. And possibly moving forward, you can have Northwest and Southwest added here or there. We never know.
So in London, there's a North London Chamber of Commerce. There's a South London Chamber of Commerce. There are very successful chambers of commerce in Kensington and Chelsea, in Richmond, in Wandsworth, and in Kingston, and also in Hillingdon. But the hole that's in the middle of all of those is in Ealing and Hammersmith and Fulham. So we were asked by London local chambers if we would adopt those boroughs and try to offer our services also to them, as we're very, very active in our local area.
That is actually brilliant and very congruent from your end to share your experience and all the positive and hard work that you have been undertaking. Is there a last advice that you would give SMEs at this stage? I know that the British economy is opening up. It started on the 1st of June. Second phase is next week. So what would, and there are definitely lots of changes to the new norm, but what would be your advice moving forward, Alan?
My advice moving forward would be to stabilize your business with some help. If you are uncertain about how you can achieve this, get in touch with your local Chamber of Commerce or contact us. We'd love to hear from you. We have lots of people who, as a collective group, can give help in most problem areas that you could name. To overcome those issues and to stabilize your business in the UK can give you a wonderful platform to then try and reach out to overseas markets. A lot of small chambers don't see overseas markets as a way that you can expand into. I do, and so do a lot of people in our part of West London, especially my good friend Khalil here, who has got lots of friends in those parts of the world, ranging from West Africa to the Middle East, which we both share common ground in. And if you've got a product that sells well or used to sell well in the UK and you need a second market to extend the product life, come along and talk to us and we can help you there. We've both got really good connections in most countries. I've got business connections in Canada. I own and run a business in the United States. I've got lots of connections there. We've got specialists for South America. Halil's a specialist in the Middle East, as am I. We do business across the whole of Europe. We have twin town agreements with an area of Paris, a suburb of Paris. We've got twin town agreements with major cities in India and in Pakistan. and we can help you grow your business across the world, right away through to New Zealand, where we are in the process of signing an agreement with the New Zealand British Chambers of Commerce as well. So come along and talk to us. You don't have to be shy. We're very welcoming. Come and see us, and we can help you on your journey in lots of ways that you didn't ever imagine possible.
You've added the cherry on top. That is brilliant. Yeah, thank you so much, Alan, because that was brilliant to share your experience, but to share your vision, but also to share way forward and how you can help. That is a great and very powerful remedy and formula. So thank you so much for today, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with me and with everyone that is watching this on social media.
شكرا جزيلا صديق.
أهلا وسهلا. السلام عليكم.
أهلا بك.